Hello everyone and welcome to video 2 of the Gilman International Scholars Program, How To detailing the application process. So the application process for the Gilman Scholarship is very arduous. There's a lot of steps to it, so you need to be prepared and you need to start on it right away. Okay, so I would say give yourself at least 2 weeks to go through everything because there's several things that you have to do, including writing the essays. So you want to go ahead and get started on that immediately. And trust me when I say that if you think that you have done everything in the application, double check. I guarantee you missed something. So I speak from personal experience. There was a lot of steps. Okay. So this video is going to be going over the different aspects of the Gilman Scholarship and some of the tips that I may have to help you along the way. I'll also include a link in the description of this video on getting to the application and what you need to do. So as you can see here, we're on the application page, and you can see there's several steps here, including writing the essays, uploading transcripts, inputting program information and advisors, selecting advisors, then submitting your application, and then the study abroad advisor and financial aid advisor are a part of this process, right? And then step 2 is when your application is complete and ready for review. So that's kind of like the brief overview they give you on here. But I want to go into, the actual application and all the things that you're going to need, okay? So with step 1, it's saying submit the application by student deadline. So there's the 4 required short essays. You need your transcripts, your abroad program details, and certifying your advisors. So this doesn't tell you much when you're actually going to go do it because there's a lot of information. So first of all, you'll need all of your personal information, your name, citizenship, date of birth, phone number, email, even your congressional voting state and district, and your veteran status. Next, there's a part where it says here on the bottom, you can see where it says certify advisors. And so I'm just going to move myself here. Let's see if you can see my mouse where it says certify advisors here. Okay. You actually will select your advisor and as you're going through the application process, and you'll have to, when you do that, you're inputting like the name of the scholarship, the institution that you're studying at, and your study abroad advisor's name, and your financial advisor's name. And their information is crucial because when you go through this process of applying and you create your application, your advisor is actually going to get that information, and if you have Canvas in your school system, which most colleges use Canvas, they're going to give you an actual course in Canvas that then you can go and go through the Gilman International Scholarship program, and you can actually apply for your transcript through there, so you don't have to pay for a transcript. So it's very important that you follow all the steps, because I didn't know that when I first did it, and I just paid for my own transcript, and then I found out later, because I did everything last minute, that the transcript was actually going to be free, and that they would have done it for me. So, or they would have sent it to me so that I can then upload it in the application. So just make sure you do that part first to get that stuff done as you're going through the applications, instead of kind of skipping ahead, because the sooner you start, you'll see all the things you need to do. So let's keep moving on here. So the next thing that you have to have in your application is you'll need your current institution information. I mentioned that earlier, your home institution, student ID, what's your classification, so are you a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior? What's your current GPA, your major and minor, your expected graduation date, and your degree. Okay, all those are important because when you go to apply and you're writing your essays are going to be about your degree. What is your future plans? How is this going to impact your future? So you want to have all that stuff established. You want to have that stuff established immediately, okay? So next step is, having your official transcripts. Like I mentioned earlier, they're going to give you that through mine is called Web Courses. Yours is Canvas. They might have a different name for your Canvas. And then also your academic history. So each institution that you're studying at and their locations. So I had previous college on my college transcript, so I had to also include those in there as well. There's another section for the STEM Supplemental Award. So if you're conducting STEM research while abroad, you would state that here. And then there's steps for that. I didn't do that part, so I can't help you so much with that step. But it's not, most of the things in the application are pretty straightforward. And there's also an essay for STEM, which you can look at individually later. Okay, and then next you have the 4 essays that you have to complete. And so you'll want to look at those in advance, and we'll talk about the essays in a whole nother video because that's a whole long process of doing those essays, and I want to give you guys tips on how to do well on those. And but there's 4 essays which you can see here. Okay, let's go down. And so if you go to this website, it's great because they give you the guidelines, and I want to talk about those too, but I just want to show you where it is. And you can see here, you've got 4 short essays here. Each of them is a max of 500 words. All right, we'll talk about that when we get into the essay. We'll talk about what each one is about, and how important it is to really be focused when you write your essays. But I just want to show you that as kind of a preview as we go along. Okay, so you'll want to do those. And we'll talk about the strategies, like I said, and formatting, hitting minimum word count. And, because for me, actually, I had to write 3 essays, but they were a lot longer. Like the first one here, like motivations for studying abroad, I think it was around 1,600 words when I wrote it. So, yeah, each of them was a bit longer. So they've condensed them, but they've added an extra one. So but they're still pretty much similar to what I did. It's just they took one, and split it into 2. So, all right, let's keep moving on. So the next part of the application is foreign language, which is, you're going to indicate if you're studying a foreign language abroad. I would show you guys the application, but I can't because it's got my information on it, and I don't want to just dox myself, so sorry. All right, next part is financial aid. You're going to indicate the estimated cost of your study abroad program. My advisor recommended I put $9,000, but you can simply put the max that they'll offer, which is $5,000. I just put $9,000. They didn't give me that much, but they didn't give me $5,000. They say that's kind of a max, but it depends also, I believe, on how long your program is going to be and how many applicants there were. I'm not really sure what the criteria was, but when I emailed someone about it, they said that's the max that I was eligible for, and that's okay. All right, so the next part, there's just additional information I want you guys to know about, which is like there's general survey questions that they want you to go through and answer, which that actually takes some time, so just make sure you save time to do that. They want to know, like, how did you find out about Gilman Scholars? Is there any scholarships that you've received on the list or in the past? Indicating if you are applying to other scholarships, what's your race or ethnicity, if you have any physical or mental disabilities, history of familial education. So did anyone in your family go to college? Are you first generation? Are you first person studying abroad? Things like that. And those things I think are impactful to your application because they really want to give these scholarships to people who they deem need them and who they can see there's clearly a financial need that they're fulfilling for the applicants. And so that's part of why they do. I believe that's part of why they ask those questions, right? And then the last part, moving on, the last part is just signing your document. Make sure you go through, triple check everything before you sign it to be reviewed, and going through your essays and everything, which we'll talk about that as I mentioned earlier. And that's the end part, right? Is just signing your document and submitting it. So each of these steps are obviously very important, and because it's such a long application, you want to give yourself plenty of time to go through it, 2 to 3 weeks. That way you can do your essays, you can get all your important documents in order, and you can have all your essays proofread, and you can make sure you did everything properly, because you get one shot basically to submit everything. So you want to make sure you do as best a job as you possibly can. Okay, so that's it for the application. Next video, we're going to talk about how to write the essays. That's the most important part, so let's get right into it. So we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.